if the election were today and not in 8 months from today, it is clear the President Trump, my former boss, would probably have a 49-state blowout like Ronald Reagan did against Jimmy Carter. So, the fact is they have nothing. They have 8 million illegals crossing the border, rampant inflation, mortgages at 8%, petrol prices, the likes of which we haven't seen in decades. And then, of course, we have what? We have war in Ukraine, war in the Middle East, a surrender in Afghanistan, and people just want President Trump back. If you look at the primary results, it's astonishing. And your colleague's analysis was really very sound. President Trump has broken records even held by Democrats in Democrat states. So if you look at New Hampshire is not a very conservative state. And he defeated Bernie Sanders' primary record in New Hampshire. Every time, more voters, more turnout. It's truly remarkable. The man is an indefatigable brand, and Americans just want him back.
What is he offering them, apart from not being Joe Biden, which seems to be the centre of his campaign, Mr. Gorka? What is Donald Trump offering in terms of a positive vision for the American people?
He's offering exactly what he did for them for 4 years. I mean, if you look at those 4 years, if you look at the economy, the GDP was the largest America had ever seen. The stock market was the largest, which isn't just for rich, the fat cats of Wall Street. If you've got a pension that is linked into the stock market, your pension looked amazing. We defeated ISIS. We had no wars for 4 years. We had petrol at less than $2 a gallon. I mean, whatever aspect, we had a secure border, whatever aspect you chose. We had NATO allies finally paying their dues. So whether it's domestic, whether it's external, whether it's our standing in the world, we had an America that people wanted to live in because it was prosperous and it was secure. So people just want back to, they don't want to have 22-year-old beautiful young nursing students murdered in Atlanta last week with their heads so caved in they were unrecognizable, killed by what? An illegal immigrant who was paroled into the nation by Biden's Department of Homeland Security, who was arrested for endangerment of a minor in New York, released by the Democrat prosecutors in New York, went to Atlanta and then murdered this beautiful woman, Laken Riley. So we don't want any of that. We want to be safe in our beds, and we want to have a strong economy, and we want to make America great again. It's a very simple equation, Ben.
I've got to ask you about his character, Mr. Gorka. This is now 91 felony charges to his name. A man who paid hush money to an adult film actress. A man who has been found to have lied by independent fact checkers many thousands of times. Is he
independent fact checkers like the Washington Post
and others, Mr.
Gorka? Carry on.
And others. Is he pathologically fit to serve as president again?
Well, it's weird you asked that question. What did I just describe to you? I mean, this is what I don't get from the putative conservatives who say, oh, I don't like his mean tweets. Well, if you say that, you're a child and you shouldn't be allowed to vote. Tell me how your pension's doing. Tell me how you like having your kids. This has happened in New York.
It's not mean tweets, Mr. Gorka. It's 91 felony charges. It's not a mean tweet. Do you want me to
answer or not?
Please, but that we're not. Let's not take it out of context.
How do you like having your kids kicked out of the government school in New York, kicked out of school so it can house illegal immigrants? And I guarantee you, all of those spurious 91 felony charges will collapse just as they're collapsing in Georgia when we find out what? The prosecutor who campaigned on putting President Trump in jail was found to be using a slush fund of $700,000 for her married paramour so that she could get back at Trump because he's what? He's white or he's a Republican. It is collapsing around their ears. A 9-0 Supreme Court ruling yesterday. Even the Democrats, even the Obama appointees said, this is lunacy. They're coming after him with political persecution. So no, the man is innocent and America knows
it. Is he honest,
Every
Mr.
new
Gorka?
Prosecution, every new charge,
is he an honest man? Is Donald Trump an honest man?
Increases. The American people know.
Is Donald Trump an honest man?
Absolutely.
So those 30,000 lies that he was found to have told, you don't believe he told a single one.
Oh, Ben,
but hold
please,
on.
Post.
Listen to my question.
Are you kidding me?
You don't believe that Donald Trump,
Post.
you don't believe all those 30,000 and a half lies
for him.
he was found to have told, you think were true.
If you trust the mainstream media, then Brexit was wrong, and I've got a bridge to sell you, okay? If you believe what the Washington Post says, that our deranged CNN, the Russia hoaxers, the people who called a man whose daughter is Jewish, who converted, they called him an anti-Semite, the only president after 23 years of broken promises from Clinton to Obama to Bush who recognized Jerusalem and moved our embassy. These are the scum who called him a racist and a bigot. No. He is honest, and he's a patriot, and he loves our country, and that's why Americans want him back in the White House.
There's a lot of concern on this part of the Atlantic, you'll be aware of this, Mr. Gorka, about the prospect of another Trump presidency, not least, I think, because of what he said and what he hasn't said about the war in Ukraine. Would Donald Trump, if he was president, just give Vladimir Putin what he wants?
Why would he do that?
Because the suggestion is, from his campaign and from him, that it's not America's business what happens in Ukraine.
Absolutely fallacious. That is calumny. That is a smear. Let me tell you a story about our time in the White House. When President Trump was informed that 300 Russian mercenaries are running around the Middle East on Putin's orders, destabilizing the whole region, do you know what he did, Ben?
Go on.
He killed them. He ordered the Secretary of Defense, he said, turn all 300 of them into red mist. 4 hours later, our JSOC and Delta warriors turned them into mincemeat. Vladimir Putin, do you know what his reaction was? He didn't even have a press conference. He crapped himself because he was so afraid of President Trump. No president from the October Revolution of 1917 that gave us the modern Russian Soviet state, not even the great Ronald Reagan, killed 300 Russians in 4 hours.
No president has said he would encourage Vladimir Putin's Russia to attack NATO allies.
It's not what he said.
It is what he
explained his negotiation tactics with the freeloading lightweights in NATO. When we came into the White House, 60% of the 30 members of the alliance weren't paying their dues. Would you be a member of a club where you were paying the dues for 60% of the members? Of course you wouldn't. We told them, get serious or you're in trouble. What happened? By the end of our 4 years in the White House, that 60% of deadbeat freeloaders had reduced to less than 30%.
Mr. Gorka,
it's called the art of the deal.
We can talk about
Ben.
NATO funding. We haven't got time, unfortunately. But the specific...
But that's the whole point
of course,
the
and
speech.
I appreciate the point he's making about other NATO countries paying more. The specific quote, I would not protect you. You didn't pay your delinquent. In fact, I would encourage them being Russia, to do whatever they want.
And what
that's
happened?
Shocking.
As a result, that country actually ponied up and became a serious partner of a collective alliance as opposed to a deadbeat. There's a reason his most popular book is called The Art of the Deal, and that is the art of the deal. He believes in the West. He believes in NATO, but he doesn't believe in lightweight loser freeloaders. And he fixed NATO, and we need him back to fix it even more.
Good to have you on again. Thank you. Sebastian Gorka, former Deputy Assistant to the President under Donald Trump, making the case there for President Trump. Do you buy it? Do you understand it? Do you get the appeal that is clearly there when it comes to this man and what he is offering, what you might say he is peddling to the American people? Or is the idea of a Donald Trump presidency as frankly terrifying and appalling to you as it is to me and I think many of us?